Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Hope you guys are doing well out there today. Hope everybody's having a great week. I just want to first start off and say thank you. Thank you to all of my subscribers. I know that 9,000 subscribers is not that many in the YouTube world, but to me, it means the absolute world that so many of you guys would watch my videos and comment and interact with me. So thank you guys once again. And I want to give a big shout out to one of my subscribers. He's been watching my videos for a while. He goes by the handle P_Riv, RIV16. He let me know in my last video that he was also in corporate America and just didn't want to do it anymore. So he went out and got his CDL license, and he's going to start his first trucking job here in about 2 weeks. So big shout out to you, man, and welcome to the trucking family. And the biggest tip I can give you is, no matter what, if you're unsure, get out and look, because I've been in the industry for over a year and I've seen many accidents, and I've had coworkers get in accidents, and they all could have been prevented if they had just gotten out of the vehicle and just looked around to make sure that they had enough room to back or make a turn. And so best of luck to you out there. And I want to give you a little life update. So I am currently looking for a new job as well. I have an interview with a couple companies this week. One is for a company where I'll be driving those big, massive, oversized trailers. I'll be moving like excavators and bulldozers and stuff like that. And I know that I made a couple videos about how tough the job market is. I would highly recommend getting your CDL right now, because I applied to 3 places last week, and out of those 3 companies, all 3 have contacted me for an interview. So I'll keep you guys updated on that as well. So yeah, let's get into today's video. So today I wanted to talk about a very important economic concept that affects every single one of you guys watching this video, and that is the declining purchasing power of the US dollar. And for those of you who don't know what purchasing power means, it simply means how much stuff you can buy with the money that you make, or how much stuff you can buy with the dollar. And so if inflation goes up, like it's occurring today, price of everything's going up right now, that means the purchasing power of your dollar that you work for is going down. And since 1913, just over a century, we have lost approximately 97% of the purchasing power that we used to have. So according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index, $100 in 1913 would be equivalent to over $3,000 today. So that means items that cost $100 back then now cost $3,000. And I remember back when I was in high school, which was like around the early 2000s, my first car was a 1992 Toyota Camry. It was white and had gold rims. And I remember I could fill my Camry up with $15. I believe it was around 85 cents per gallon. So this was around the early 2000s, 2002, 2003. And for lunch, I would always go to Taco Bell because I loved their bean and cheese burrito. And I remember I could get 4 of those for $3. Or sometimes when I wanted to switch it up, I would get the chili cheese burrito, and I could get 3 of those for $3. My mom would always give me about $3 to $4 for lunch. And right now, each bean burrito at Taco Bell is around $3. And have you guys ever asked yourself, why has the price of everything gone up so dramatically? Why has everything gone up 3 or 4-fold from 25 years ago, for those from my older viewers? Have you guys ever asked yourself that? And it's because while you and I have to work Monday through Friday, sometimes 8 to 10 hours a day. We have to sacrifice, a lot of our precious time that's limited here on this earth. The Federal Reserve, they just print money. And for those of you that don't know, the United States economic monetary system is a debt-based fiat system. And what that means is that debt and money has to continuously be printed in order for the system to continue. So what is what in the world is a debt-based monetary system? So for example, obviously the economic system is very complex. It's like the human body. There's so many nuances, and it's very intricate, and it's highly complex. But at a very high level, what that means is, for example, let's say that there's a country of 5 people. And before there was any money or US or dollars, they used to barter. So let's say person 1 says, you know what, this bartering system ain't working. So let me become what's known as a bank, and I'm going to issue these paper dollars, and we're going to use that for trade. So the other 4 people are like, you know what, let's give it a try. I'm okay with that. I think that's a good idea. We've never done it before, so let's give it a try. So person 2 takes out a loan for $100. So that's how money's created, a loan. It's loaned out into the economic system. So the bank, person 1 says, okay, here's $100 loan for you, and the interest rate is going to be 10%. So at the end of the year, you have to pay me back $110. But think about that very carefully. So person 1, the bank, loans out $100 to person 2. He owes at the end of the year $110 to person 1, the bank. But there's only $100 in that country circulating right now. How is person 2 going to be able to pay back the bank when there's only $100? Does that make sense? So what happens is more debt or more money has to be printed into the economy for person 2 to be able to repay that $110 debt, because there's only $100. So what will happen next is person 3 will get a loan as well for $100. So with the same terms, let's say person 3 also has to pay back 10% on that $100 loan at the end of the year. So then person 2, let's say he grows apples. He'll go to person 3 and say, hey, for these apples, I'll sell it to you for $10. So person 3 now only has $90. Person 2 now has enough money, $110, to pay back the bank, person 1, at the end of the year. So when person 2 pays back the $110, how is person 3, who now only has $90, going to pay back the $110 he owes at the end of the year? So again, debt has to be continuously issued or created into the economy in order for the debt-based system to continue to go on. Because if the bank doesn't issue debt, continuously issue debt, what happens? Person 3 can't pay back his loan plus interest. He only has $90. And the $110 that person 2 owed, he paid back. So there's only $90 in circulation. So hopefully that makes sense. But the key takeaway, guys, is that debt has to continue to grow. But notice person 1, the bank, what did he do? Did he do any work? Person 2 had to grow apples. Let's say person 3 make shoes, and they have to wake up and go to work every day. And, person 2 has to farm apples. And we all know that farming is not an easy job. But once again, what's the key takeaway? Person 1, the bank, all he did was issue money and come up with the terms of the loan. And at the end of all of this, he got back $110 from person 2 and $110 from person 3. So now the bank has a total of $220 for doing really nothing. So that's how our system works at a very, very high level. And you guys can only imagine, this system has been in place for over a century. And throughout the years, the debt has to grow and grow and grow, and the money supply, and consequently has also grown, which is why we're seeing the price of everything going up, because our dollars are being devalued. And on top of that, government spending is out of control. I read that the war on terror in Iraq and Afghanistan has cost our country close to $20 trillion. And say, for example, how do you guys think that we funded all these wars? Let's say that, through taxes, the government was only able to get $2 trillion. How did the government come up with that $18 trillion to pay for everything? They had to either borrow it or print it as well, which also devalues the dollar in circulation, causing the price to go up, which increases inflation as well. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. There are so many Americans that are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, and really struggling in life right now. And inflation is going to continue to go up. I believe it's the first time in history the interest that the United States pays on its debt, which is now around $37 trillion, is the number one expense that our government has. It's exceeded entitlements that we paid to, the senior citizens and the people and the baby boomers and people that have retired. And it's also exceeded our defense budget. So inflation is going to continue to be a huge, huge problem. And let me read you guys a quote that I thought was, that hit home for me. So the fact that people have to work many years, all of their lives, spending time and energy in order to gain fiat money that banks print out of thin air, and in process of devaluing their money, is injustice on the largest scale humanity has ever seen. And imagine working 9 to 5 for 50 years. A lot of us, unfortunately, are probably going to have to work maybe even more than that if inflation goes even higher and the cost of living gets even worse. But imagine working 9 to 5 for 50 years, then the Fed prints 40% of the total money supply and inflates away 20 years of your hard work. And so I don't know if you guys are aware, but the Bureau of Labor Statistics came out with their CPI numbers not too long ago. And why do you think that they only let you know what, the numbers are made up in my opinion, but why do you think they only, report month over month or year over year? Because month over month, according to the BLS, the July CPI rose 0.2%, and year over year 2.7%. And July core inflation rose 0.3% month over month and 3.1% year over year. So when the government presents data in such a short time span, 0.2%, 0.3%, that's not much. Most people just read the headlines, oh, inflation's not that bad. But why don't you think they won't report, 5 years or 10 years? And hypothetically, let's say, they took into, McDonald's meals or something into their calculation. So from 2000, the price of a Big Mac was $2.24. And in 2025, it's at $5.79. And this reports a substantial increase of 158% according to Yahoo Finance. So imagine if the BLS reported 25-year statistics and they had to report, inflation is 150%, 58%. Why don't you think that they report in small increments and not 25-year or 10-year increments? Well, it's because it exposes the truth. I'll see you guys in the next video.